Hello, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I am here today to read you Glass Slipper, Gold Sandal, a Worldwide Cinderella. So what this book is going to do is it's going to take a bunch of different countries and all of the ways that they tell their Cinderella story and combine them all into one. So I'll point out the different places as I read. So this is all about Cinderella around the world. And here you can see the map of all of the places that we are going to find our Cinderella stories in this book. I am really excited. I want to read you the author's note though first. It says, a chameleon changes color to match its surroundings. We know that that's called camouflage. Stories do the same. The earliest recorded Cinderella tale is thought to date from 9th century China. So scholars think that the very first Cinderella story actually came from China. Traveling across the globe, it changed its clothes, but not its essence. So it means the story changed a little bit, but the main idea or the central message stayed the same. Rivalry, injustice, and the dream of wrongs righted are universal, no matter our garments. When the story reached France, it acquired the glass slippers, we know that one, and coachman mice familiar to Western readers. So when it came to France is when it became the story like we know of Cinderella, like the Disney version that we all love. More than 1,000 other versions are known. Wait, over 1,000 versions of Cinderella? That's crazy. I pictured a book that would let us listen in on the tale tellers we don't often hear, who breathe the story to life around fires of peat and pinon pine, swinging in hammocks and snuggling under deerskins. I'm especially indebted to Judy Sierra's fine collection at Cinderella. So this guy said, you know what, I want to bring all of these texts together. And that's what they did. Once upon a time, there lived a wealthy merchant whose wife had died. They had one daughter, gentle-eyed and good-hearted. Down the road lived a widow with 2 daughters, and this is from Mexico. The woman gave the girl treats when she passed, pan dulce to eat, sugar cane to chew. The girl knew that her father was lonely. You should marry the widow, she told him. She's nice to me. The father had his doubts, but the girl kept asking, and how long can a father say no to his daughter? And so he and the widow were married. We're over in Korea now. But no sooner had the stepmother moved in than she began to order the girl about. And I want you to connect at home every time you hear something that sounds like the Cinderella that you know. All day long she set her to weeding the rice fields and cooking and carrying. The woman gave the girl's room to her own lazy daughters. At night the girl had nowhere else to sleep but curled her warmth among the ashes on the hearth. And we're now in Iraq. Her stepmother allowed her only a few scraps of food. Her stomach howled. Then the girl recalled how she'd begged her father to marry. I picked up the scorpion with my own hand, she told herself. That means I am the one responsible for this. I asked him to marry the woman and he did, and now I am paying for it. She vowed not to complain to her father and upset him. Russia. But when the girl was out tending the cattle, the beasts heard her crying for hunger. Don't weep, said one of the cows, and the animal poured honey for her from its horn. Iran. And a fairy gave her figs and apricots. India. And Godfather Snake gave her rice. So you'll see that they all are different in their own way. Ireland. Once she was eating well and proper, the girl bloomed into a right rare beauty. The stepmother couldn't fathom it, and meanwhile her own sour-faced daughters would curdle the milk if they looked at it twice. And they were not nice people. They had cold hearts. Zimbabwe. One day it was announced far and wide that the great king was in search of a queen. All the unmarried women dressed in their finest robes and set off for the palace. Germany. To make sure the girl couldn't go, the stepmother threw an apron full of lentils into the ashes and ordered her to pick them all out. Appalachia. And scour all the kitchen pots too, she hollered. She's making her do so many things. Germany again. As soon as the stepmother left with her 2 daughters, the girl burst into tears. Outside, the sparrows heard her. In they flew and pecked the lentils from the ashes. So that means they helped her do her job. Back to Appalachia. Then a witch woman came in and spoke a spell, and up jumped the pots and scoured themselves. All of these Cinderella stories have a little bit of magic. Laos. The girl was free to go, but she had nothing to wear except rags, and then she looked in her mother's sewing basket. Russia. Then she reached into the hole in the birch tree. Indonesia. Then a crocodile swam up to the surface, and in its mouth was a sarong made of gold. China. A cloak sewn of kingfisher feathers. Japan. A kimono red as sunset. So, as soon as the fairy godmother of the story came, she turned into a beautiful princess or a beautiful person wearing all sorts of different things depending on the version that you read. France. And on the girl's feet appeared a pair of glass slippers. We know that. In India, though, diamond anklets. In Iraq, sandals of gold. West Indies. Walk to the ball? Said the girl's auntie. Never. She picked a big round breadfruit from a tree and tapped it 3 times with her quick wand. Quick as the blink of a firefly, that breadfruit changed itself into a coach. Kind of like the pumpkin. You're right. Poland. When she made her entrance, so great was her beauty that the musicians stopped playing. No one, not even her stepmother, knew who the beautiful stranger was. No one recognized her at the ball when she went in the version that we know as well. Back to Indonesia. All night the girl danced with the headman's son until the first rooster crowed. Then she remembered she had to leave at once. So that's like the clock striking midnight in the version that we know. Instead, the rooster crowed. She leaped onto her mare's golden saddle. "Who are you?" called the prince. The girl had no time for words and charged down the lane. The prince sprinted beside her, got a hand on her shoe, and the dainty thing pulled off in his fingers as she galloped away. That was from Ireland. In China, the king declared he would marry the golden shoe's owner. He ordered the women of the court to try it on, but none could squeeze inside it. Sounds like the version we know. And so he went searching for its owner up and down mountains, Iran, and across the deserts, and in Laos, until he came to the stepmother's house. When she saw him approach, she grabbed her stepdaughter, wrapped her in a mat, and hid her. Oh, so instead of just saying she doesn't live here, they tried to hide her. In France, the one that we recognize, "I'm certain the shoe will fit one of my fine favored girls," said the woman, grunting and sweating. Her older daughter tried to wrestle the shoe on, but couldn't. Neither could the younger. They tried to make it fit, but it couldn't. Iraq. Just then a rooster began to crow. They put the ugly one on show and hid the beauty down below. Oh, it's rhyming. In Korea, the girl was brought forward. "Don't waste your time with that one," said the stepmother. But the magistrate looked into the girl's eyes, took the straw sandal in his hand, and slipped it onto her foot with ease. So instead of a glass slipper, it's a straw sandal. Now, there's a lot of different ones. We are going to be in Zimbabwe, India, Ireland, Mexico, Iraq, and Korea. She and the great king were married at the palace, where the guests feasted on mangoes and melons, rice seasoned with almonds, beef stew and lamb stew, anansi cookies and custards. Such a wedding it was, and such an adoring couple, and such a wondrous turn of events, that people today are still telling the story. All right. That was Glass Slipper Gold Sandal, a worldwide Cinderella. If you have any interest, I would love for you to take a look at the map, pause it, and see if you can remember any of the places that this story talked about. Take a look at the map, and let me know which version you thought was the most interesting. Remember, the France version is the one that most of us know, the one that Disney did, the one that we've heard a lot. But there are thousands of versions of Cinderella. So let me know which one you thought was most interesting, and I have another one coming at you tomorrow. Bye!